Hello, and welcome back to the Priestess Path. I'm so glad you're here. Today, I want to spend a few minutes with one of my favourite archetypes in Remembrance Astrology, Hekate. Hekate is often described as the goddess of the crossroads, but I think her wisdom reaches even deeper than that. For me, she is the keeper of sacred thresholds. Not the moment after we've figured everything out, not the moment we've finally arrived, but the space in between. The place where one version of us has ended and another has not yet fully appeared. If you've ever found yourself asking, why can't I see what's next? Or why does everything feel so uncertain? Then perhaps you're standing exactly where Hekate would expect to find you. We tend to think of these moments as interruptions, as delays, as times when life has somehow gone off course. But what if the threshold isn't empty at all? What if something essential is happening here? In my own life, I've learned that some of the deepest transformations didn't begin with clarity, with certainty. They began with not knowing, with plans dissolving, with identities falling away, with waiting far longer than I wanted to. And looking back, I can see that those seasons weren't pauses in the story, they were the story. The threshold was quietly changing me long before my outer life reflected it. Hekate reminds us that we don't have to rush through uncertainty. In fact, rushing is how we often miss what the threshold is trying to teach us. Modern life tells us to decide quickly, fix the problem, find the answer, move on. But Hekate asks a different question. Can you remain? Can you stay with the unanswered question a little longer? Can you trust that clarity sometimes becomes because we stopped chasing it? One of the ideas I explore in this week's reflection is that thresholds exist everywhere. In the sky, they appear as twilight where day becomes night. On the earth, they appear as a shoreline where land becomes sea. And within the body, they appear in the gentle pause between one breath leaving and the next arriving. These places aren't empty, they're alive. They're where one thing becomes another. And perhaps our own lives are no different. Perhaps this uncertain season isn't evidence that you've lost your way. Perhaps it's evidence that something new is quietly gathering beneath the surface. And so today I'd like to leave you with the same question I ask at the end of my written piece on this. Where in your life are you standing at a threshold? And what if nothing has gone wrong? What if this uncertainty isn't asking you to move faster, but to remain long enough for the next version of yourself to arrive? Thank you for walking this path with me. Until next time, remember, transformation rarely begins when the path is clear. It begins when we're willing to remain at the threshold long enough to hear our own knowing.